Alright, guys, so this is the second question, and you can see it's much longer, so it will take us a little bit more time. And to get started, I'll actually read this part right here um, because that is the question that we'll begin with. So, which two sentences together best support the idea that that a sound financial foundation is crucial to begin the process of buying a house? So, that is what we're looking for in these sentences above. Number one, buying a house before you're ready can lead to financial disaster. Number two, but a weak financial foundation is a recipe for regret when it comes to your home purchase. Number three, but if you have a full emergency fund and no debt taking up real estate in your monthly budget, an unexpected repair won't rock your whole life. Number four, to help with budgeting, you can call moving companies in your area for quotes ahead of time. Okay, so these are our sentences that we will pick from that will support this idea mentioned. And here's our set of answers below. Let me now go into some tips to take into consideration as you answer questions like this one. And some of these repeat from the last question. So first, skim back over the text with the question being asked in mind. Second, compare multiple choice answers to major themes in the article. Okay, so that's important. We'll look at these and we'll compare those to major themes in the article. Number three, this is a big one for this specific type of question. But find which two sentences have something in common. So we can find in here some sentences that have a commonality that will give us a pretty big hint as to what is the answer to this question. Fourth, use process of elimination, just like with the last question we answered. Fifth, double check your answer to make sure it makes sense. That's always a good idea as a general rule of thumb. And lastly, use other questions to help you answer this one. And so we were not, or I will not show you that specifically in this question, but whenever you're taking a test, always look at other questions, see if any of the answers in there or the question itself can give you hints that you can use for the question you're then answering. Okay, so these are the things that I'll, or that you should keep into consideration when you're asked a question like the one that I just read. Okay, so going back into this question, let me show you how you can come to an answer. So what we're doing is we're finding two sentences that together support this idea that a sound financial foundation is crucial to begin the process of buying a house. That means that you already have your finances in order before you go into the possibility of home ownership. And so here are our sentences. And I'll go one by one and I'll see if any of these apply to this question. And if more than two apply, I'll narrow it down to the two that I think together best answer the question. So first, buying a house before you're ready can lead to financial disaster. Okay, so this is a possibility because it is mentioning that if you're not ready, you can, as a result, end up in a financial disaster. Okay. However, I will note that in here it says that you're ready, but it does not mention specifically that you're financially sound. Okay, that you have a strong foundation. Okay, so moving on to number two. But a weak financial foundation is a recipe for regret when it comes to your home purchase. So this one, very likely a yes. It is using also the words financial foundation, and it is saying that if you have a weak one, it will end up in regret. Okay, so this one, number two, definitely supports the idea that a sound financial foundation is crucial to begin the process of buying a house. Okay, so we have one as a possible answer, number two as a very possible answer. Number three, but if you have a full emergency fund and no debt taking up real estate in your monthly budget, an unexpected repair won't rock your whole life. And so this is where you kind of have to infer a little bit. And you first have to understand what this is saying. If you contextualize it with that part of the text, which is what you should do whenever you're going through these options, this is mentioning that you need to have an emergency fund and, again, no debt before you buy a house, because an unexpected repair could be very damaging. If you do not have a sound financial foundation when you buy a house and you have an unexpected repair, that could be very damaging. Okay? And so number three is also very likely an answer. Okay, let me go to number four and I'll see if I can rule this one out. To help with budgeting, you can call moving companies in your area for quotes ahead of time. Okay, so I think I can rule that one out. It doesn't mention anything about having a strong financial foundation. It just mentions, if anything, a tip. So I have these three options. And like I said, number one is not the best possible answer in this case, because it does say again that you're ready, but it does not mention specifically this financial foundation. Okay, that is a very important part, that you have a sound financial foundation. Number two mentions it directly. And then number three, it does mention that you need to have that emergency fund and no debt, which are part of a strong financial foundation, in order to then eventually buy a house. So our answer would be B, 2, and 3. And like I said, that is a little more lengthy, but it will come in handy when you're asked a question like this one on a test.